Welcome to your bedtime story session. Find a comfortable spot to sit or lie down. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Let your body relax and release all the worries of the day. Allow your mind to calm and join us as we step into a peaceful and enchanting world. Tonight, we will explore the tale of Princess Cindy and her magical journey through the kingdom of Glittervale. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself in a magnificent castle where warm golden light fills the space. Feel the gentle embrace of the air and the soft sounds of cheerful music playing in the distance. Let the images of a glowing crystal, mysterious forests, and wonderful adventures guide you into a deep and restful sleep. Let us begin the journey and allow the story to lead you into the world of dreams. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. Now, relax and let the story begin. Chapter 1. The Awakening of the Orb. In the tranquil kingdom of Glittervale, where the sun bathed the fields in golden light and the rivers sang soothing lullabies, Princess Cindy was celebrating her 18th birthday. The grand halls of the castle were adorned with fragrant blooms, and the air buzzed with the joyous melodies of bards and the laughter of guests. Yet, amidst the opulence and festivity, a single gift stood out. A gift shrouded in mystery and wonder. The box was simple, wrapped in plain cloth, and bore no markings to indicate its sender. Cindy's curiosity was piqued as she unwrapped the cloth to reveal a stunning crystal orb nestled within a bed of velvet. The orb glowed softly, casting a myriad of colors that danced across her delicate features. Whispers rippled through the room as the courtiers marveled at the orb's beauty. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. The Queen, Cindy's mother, approached with a mixture of awe and caution. Who could have sent such a gift? She mused, her eyes reflecting the orb's ethereal light. Cindy held the orb in her hands, feeling a strange warmth radiating from within it. As she gazed into its depths, she was mesmerized by the swirling lights and patterns that seemed to shift and change. The room around her faded into a blur, and for a moment, it was just her and the orb, connected by an unseen force. The festivities continued, but Cindy's thoughts lingered on the mysterious orb. That night, long after the last guest had departed and the castle had fallen silent, she sat by her window, cradling the orb in her hands. The moonlight streaming through the window seemed to enhance the orb's glow, making it even more enchanting. As she gazed into the orb once more, a vision began to take shape. At first, it was just a flicker, like the faintest of dreams, but gradually it became clearer. She saw a landscape she did not recognize, a dense, enchanted forest filled with towering trees and shimmering streams. In the midst of the forest, there was a hidden valley bathed in golden light, and within the valley, a majestic crystal cave. Cindy's heart raced. She felt an unexplainable pull towards this vision, as if the orb was calling her to embark on a journey. Yet the vision was fleeting, leaving her with more questions than answers. What was the significance of this forest and the crystal cave? And why had the orb chosen her? The following morning, Cindy sought out her wise old tutor, Alaric, who had served the royal family for generations. Alaric was a learned man, well versed in the ancient lore and secrets of the kingdom. As she recounted her experience, he listened intently, his eyes narrowing in thought. "The crystal orb," Alaric began, his voice grave, "is no ordinary artifact. It is said to be a relic of great power, capable of revealing the future and guiding those destined for greatness. Many have sought it, but it appears only to those with a pure heart and a noble purpose." Cindy's mind reeled with this revelation. The orb had chosen her, but for what purpose? Alaric's words echoed in her mind, filling her with a sense of destiny and responsibility. She realized that the vision she had seen was not just a dream. It was a call to adventure, a path she must follow. As the days passed, Cindy couldn't shake the feeling that her kingdom's future depended on the journey she was about to undertake. With determination in her heart, she made her decision. She would follow the orb's guidance, wherever it might lead her. The first step of her journey was clear. She had to leave the safety of the castle and venture into the unknown, guided by the mysterious crystal orb. As she prepared for her departure, she felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. She knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she also knew that she was ready to face them. Cindy bid farewell to her family, promising to return with answers and the means to protect their kingdom. With the crystal orb in her possession and her loyal companion, Luna the white horse, by her side, she set off into the dawn. The first rays of sunlight heralding the beginning of her grand adventure. As days turned into weeks, Princess Cindy found herself increasingly drawn to the crystal orb. Its presence was a constant source of fascination and comfort. She carried it with her wherever she went, cradling it like a precious jewel. The orb's warmth was soothing, and its light seemed to ebb and flow with her emotions. One moonlit night, Cindy sat in her chamber, the orb resting in her lap. She gazed into its depths, mesmerized by the swirling colors. As she watched, the orb began to glow more intensely, its light growing brighter and more vivid. Intrigued, she leaned closer, her breath catching in anticipation. Suddenly, the colors within the orb shifted, coalescing into a clear vision. Cindy saw her kingdom, but it was not the peaceful realm she knew. Dark clouds loomed over the castle, and shadows crept across the land. The air was thick with a sense of impending doom. In the vision, she saw herself standing at the edge of a vast, enchanted forest. She was clad in a simple traveling cloak, her face determined and resolute. Beside her stood Luna, her loyal white horse, and in her hand she held the crystal orb, its light guiding her path. Cindy's heart raced as the vision unfolded. She saw herself journeying through the forest, traversing hidden valleys and scaling rugged mountains. Along the way, she encountered strange and wondrous creatures, some friendly and others fearsome. The vision was both thrilling and daunting, filling her with a sense of purpose and urgency. When the vision faded, Cindy was left with a profound sense of destiny. She knew that the orb was not just a beautiful artifact. It was a guide, showing her the path she must take to protect her kingdom. But the journey would be perilous, and she could not undertake it alone. The next morning, Cindy sought out Alaric, her wise and trusted tutor. She found him in the castle library, surrounded by ancient tomes and scrolls. His eyes twinkled with curiosity as she recounted her vision, describing every detail with fervour. Alaric listened intently, nodding thoughtfully. When she finished, he stroked his beard and spoke in a grave tone. "The crystal orb is indeed a powerful relic," he said. "It has chosen you, Cindy, for a great and noble purpose. The vision you saw is a glimpse of the future, a path you must follow to save our kingdom from the darkness that threatens it." Cindy felt a surge of determination. "But how do I begin this journey?" she asked. "Where do I start?" Alaric smiled gently. "The orb will guide you," he replied. "Trust in its light, and it will show you the way. You must be brave and steadfast, for the journey will test you in ways you cannot yet imagine. But remember, you are not alone. The strength of our kingdom and the love of your people are with you." With Alaric's words echoing in her mind, Cindy prepared for her journey. She gathered supplies and provisions, ensuring she had everything she needed for the long road ahead. Her parents, though anxious, gave her their blessings, trusting in her courage and the power of the orb. On the eve of her departure, Cindy stood at the castle gates, Luna by her side. The orb glowed softly in her hands, casting a gentle light on the path before her. She took a deep breath, feeling a mixture of excitement and trepidation. This was the beginning of an epic adventure, one that would take her far from the safety of her home and into the heart of the unknown. As she set off into the dawn, the first rays of sunlight painted the sky in hues of gold and pink. Cindy felt a sense of resolve settle over her. She would follow the orb's guidance, face the challenges ahead, and protect her kingdom from the darkness that loomed. With Luna trotting faithfully beside her, she ventured into the great beyond, ready to embrace her destiny. The morning sun cast long shadows across the forest as Cindy and Luna ventured deeper into the unknown. The crystal orb, nestled securely in Cindy's saddlebag, pulsed with a gentle light, its warmth reassuring against her side. Every step they took seemed to bring them closer to the heart of the enchanted forest, a place where the boundaries between reality and magic blurred. As the day wore on, Cindy felt a growing sense of unease. The forest was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant bird calls. But there was something else, a presence that seemed to watch their every move. She tightened her grip on Luna's reins, her eyes scanning the dense undergrowth for any sign of danger. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the forest in a twilight glow, Cindy decided it was time to make camp. She dismounted and led Luna to a small clearing where she set up a simple shelter. The orb's light provided a comforting glow, illuminating the space with a soft, ethereal radiance. After a modest meal, Cindy sat by the fire, the orb cradled in her hands. As she stared into its depths, she felt a familiar warmth spread through her fingers. The orb began to glow more brightly, and the colours within it swirled and shifted, forming a new vision. In the vision, Cindy saw her kingdom once more, but this time the scene was more dire. The dark clouds she had seen before were now thicker, swirling ominously over the castle. The land was shrouded in an eerie twilight, and shadows moved with malevolent intent. At the heart of this darkness stood a tall figure cloaked in black, eyes glowing with a sinister light. Cindy's heart pounded as she watched the figure raise a staff, unleashing waves of darkness that spread across the kingdom. The vision shifted, and she saw herself standing at the edge of a cliff, the crystal orb held high. Light emanated from the orb, pushing back the darkness and revealing a hidden path through the forest. As the vision faded, Cindy was left with a sense of urgency and determination. The orb was showing her the way, but it was also warning her of the dangers that lay ahead. She knew she had to follow the path revealed in the vision, no matter how perilous it might be. With renewed resolve, Cindy rose early the next morning and set out with Luna, following the orb's guidance. The forest seemed to part before them, revealing a narrow trail that wound through the ancient trees. The path was steep and rugged, but Cindy pressed on, driven by the vision and her duty to protect her kingdom. Days turned into weeks as Cindy and Luna journeyed deeper into the heart of the forest. They encountered many challenges along the way. Swift rivers that needed fording, treacherous cliffs that required careful navigation, and dense thickets that seemed almost impenetrable. Through it all, the orb's light never wavered, providing a constant source of guidance and hope. One evening, as they made camp beside a crystal-clear stream, Cindy felt a strange presence in the air. The orb glowed more intensely than usual, and she knew another vision was coming. She settled down, holding the orb close, and watched as the colors within it began to swirl and shift. This time, the vision showed her a majestic valley hidden deep within the forest. The valley was bathed in golden light, and at its center stood a towering crystal cave, shimmering with 1,000 colors. Cindy saw herself standing before the cave, The orb held high, its light merging with the cave's brilliance. She felt a surge of energy, as if the very essence of the forest was flowing into her. The vision faded, leaving Cindy with a sense of awe and purpose. She knew the valley and the crystal cave were crucial to her quest. The orb was leading her to a place of great power, where she would find the strength and wisdom needed to face the darkness threatening her kingdom. With the path ahead clearer than ever, Cindy and Luna continued their journey, driven by the visions and the unwavering light of the crystal orb. Each step brought them closer to the heart of the enchanted forest and the destiny that awaited them. The morning air was crisp as Cindy and Luna made their way back to the castle. The path they had taken now seemed almost foreign, cloaked in the memories of the visions and the weight of the task ahead. Cindy's mind was filled with the images the orb had shown her. The dark figure, the swirling shadows, and the crystal cave bathed in golden light. She knew she needed guidance and more information about the orb and its power. Upon her return, Cindy sought out Alaric immediately. The wise old tutor was in his study, surrounded by ancient tomes and scrolls. His eyes lit up with curiosity and concern as Cindy recounted her visions and the journey she had begun. "Alaric," Cindy began, her voice steady but urgent, "the orb has shown me our kingdom in great peril. Dark forces are at work, and I must follow the path it reveals to protect our people. I need your wisdom. What do you know about this crystal orb and the destiny it speaks of?" Alaric listened carefully, his expression grave. He rose and retrieved a large, dusty book from a high shelf. "This," he said, placing the book before her, "is the Chronicle of Glittervale. It contains the history of our land and the legends of powerful relics, such as the crystal orb." Cindy watched as Alaric turned the pages, stopping at an illustration of an orb remarkably similar to hers. The accompanying text spoke of a time long past, when the kingdom had faced a great darkness. A chosen one, guided by a crystal orb, had ventured into the enchanted forest, discovered the crystal cave, and harnessed its power to save Glittervale. "The orb," Alaric explained, "is a relic of immense power, entrusted to those who possess a pure heart and a noble purpose. It is said to guide its bearer through trials and tribulations, revealing the path to victory. Your visions are a call to adventure, Cindy. The orb has chosen you to follow in the footsteps of our ancestors and defend our kingdom from the looming darkness." Cindy felt a mixture of awe and trepidation. The weight of her responsibility was immense, but so was her determination. "I will follow the orb's guidance no matter where it leads," she declared, her voice resolute. "But what else should I know before I embark on this journey?" Alaric's eyes softened with a mix of pride and concern. "The journey will test you in ways you cannot yet imagine. Trust in the orb, but also in yourself. remember that you are not alone. The strength of our kingdom, the wisdom of our ancestors, and the love of your people are with you. Seek allies along the way and remain vigilant. The path will be fraught with challenges, but you are capable of overcoming them. With Alaric's words echoing in her mind, Cindy prepared for her departure. She packed provisions and necessary supplies, ensuring she was well equipped for the journey. Her parents, though anxious, gave her their blessings, their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and hope. The day of her departure arrived, and Cindy stood at the castle gates, Luna by her side. The crystal orb glowed softly in her hands, casting a gentle light on the path before her. She took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her destiny and the resolve to see it through. As she mounted Luna, her heart swelled with determination. She would follow the orb's guidance, face whatever challenges lay ahead, and protect her kingdom from the darkness that threatened it. With a final look at the castle and her family, she urged Luna forward, the first rays of dawn illuminating their path. Cindy's journey had truly begun. The enchanted forest awaited, its secrets and dangers hidden within its ancient trees. But with the crystal orb in her possession and the wisdom of Alaric in her heart, she felt ready to embrace the call to adventure and fulfill her destiny. The castle's tall spires faded into the distance as Cindy and Luna ventured further into the wilderness. The road ahead was unknown, but the crystal orb's gentle glow provided reassurance. With every step, Cindy felt a growing connection to the land around her and a sense of purpose ignited by the orb's visions. The landscape transformed from rolling meadows to dense forests, the trees growing taller and the undergrowth thicker. Cindy marveled at the beauty of the wild, untouched by human hands. Birds sang melodious tunes, and the rustling leaves whispered secrets of old. Cindy and Luna followed a winding path that seemed to be guided by the orb's light. The forest grew denser, and the air felt different, thicker, charged with an ancient magic that pulsed through the roots and leaves. The path was narrow, often obscured by brambles and fallen leaves. But Cindy pressed on, trusting the orb's guidance. As they journeyed deeper, the forest began to change. The trees stood taller, their bark etched with ancient runes, and the foliage shimmered with a faint magical glow. Strange and wondrous creatures darted through the shadows. Glimmering fireflies, ethereal sprites, and curious forest animals that seemed to watch Cindy with knowing eyes. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across their path, Cindy decided to make camp. She found a small clearing surrounded by towering trees and set about preparing a fire. The orb's light provided a comforting glow as she worked, its warmth a reminder of her mission. After a simple meal, Cindy sat by the fire, holding the orb in her hands. She gazed into its depths, feeling the familiar warmth spread through her fingers. The orb began to glow brighter, and she sensed another vision coming. This time, the vision was more vivid than ever. Cindy saw herself standing at the edge of the enchanted forest, looking out over a vast golden valley. At the center of the valley was the crystal cave from her previous visions, its entrance shimmering with an inviting light. She saw herself entering the cave, the orb in her hands glowing brightly. Inside, she found a crystal heart pulsating with power. The vision filled her with a sense of hope and determination. The vision faded, leaving Cindy with a renewed sense of purpose. She knew she was on the right path, but the journey was far from over. The enchanted forest held many secrets and challenges, and she needed to remain vigilant. The following morning, Cindy and Luna continued their journey. The path grew steeper and the forest thicker. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the distant sound of running water. The orb's light guided them through the maze of trees, its glow unwavering. As they traveled, Cindy's thoughts turned to her kingdom. She wondered how her family fared and whether the dark clouds from her visions had begun to cast their shadows over the castle. She drew strength from the knowledge that she was doing everything in her power to protect her home. One afternoon, while navigating a particularly dense part of the forest, Cindy encountered a stream. The water was crystal clear, reflecting the sky and the surrounding trees like a mirror. She led Luna to the water's edge, allowing the horse to drink deeply. As she filled her own flask, she noticed something glimmering beneath the water's surface. Reaching into the cool water, Cindy pulled out a small, intricately carved stone. It was smooth and warm to the touch, with symbols etched into its surface. As she held it, the orb in her saddlebag glowed brighter, as if acknowledging the stone's significance. Cindy studied the stone, recognizing the symbols from Alaric's ancient texts. It was a marker, a guidepost left by those who had walked this path before. The realization filled her with a sense of continuity and hope. She was not the first to undertake this journey, and she would not be the last. With renewed vigor, Cindy pressed on, the path ahead illuminated by the orb's light and the knowledge that she was part of a greater legacy. The enchanted forest awaited, its secrets and trials a crucial part of her quest. Cindy was ready to face whatever lay ahead, her heart steadfast and her spirit unyielding. Cindy and Luna ventured deeper into the enchanted forest, a realm where reality and magic intertwined. The trees grew even taller and denser, their ancient branches forming a canopy that filtered the sunlight into delicate beams. The air was thick with the scent of moss and wildflowers, and the forest buzzed with life, each creature a testament to the magic that pervaded the place. Cindy felt a profound connection to the forest, as if the very land was welcoming her. Yet she remained cautious, aware that the beauty of the forest could be deceiving. She clutched the crystal orb tightly, its light steady and reassuring. As they moved forward, the path became less distinct. The undergrowth thickened, and strange, luminous fungi cast an eerie glow. Cindy's senses were heightened, every rustle of leaves and snap of a twig putting her on alert. She knew the forest was alive with creatures, both friendly and hostile. One afternoon, while navigating a particularly dense thicket, Cindy heard a soft melodic voice singing. The sound was enchanting, drawing her deeper into the forest. She followed the voice until she came upon a clearing where a woman with flowing silver hair sat on a fallen log, surrounded by a circle of radiant flowers. The woman's eyes were a deep, mesmerizing blue, and her voice carried a soothing, otherworldly quality. "Welcome, Princess Cindy," she said, her gaze fixed on the orb in Cindy's hand. "I have been expecting you." Cindy was taken aback. "Who are you?" she asked. Her curiosity piqued. "I am Alicia, the guardian of the enchanted forest," the woman replied. "The crystal orb has guided you here for a reason. You seek the crystal cave, do you not?" Cindy nodded, feeling a sense of relief and gratitude. "Yes, I do. The orb has shown me visions of the cave and a great darkness threatening my kingdom. I must find the cave and harness its power to protect my people." Alicia smiled warmly. "The path you seek is not an easy one. The forest will test you, but it will also reveal its secrets to those who are pure of heart. Trust in the orb and in yourself, and you will find the way." With Alicia's guidance, Cindy felt a renewed sense of purpose. She thanked the guardian and continued her journey, the orb's light brighter than ever. The forest seemed to respond to her resolve, the path becoming clearer as she moved forward. As they traveled, Cindy encountered various challenges. She faced treacherous terrain, swift rivers, and thick brambles that seemed intent on blocking her path. Each obstacle tested her strength and determination, but with Luna by her side and the orb's light guiding her, she overcame them all. One evening, as they made camp beside a serene pond, Cindy reflected on her journey. The forest was both beautiful and terrifying, its magic a constant presence. She felt a deep sense of respect for the land and its mysteries. The crystal cave was still a distant goal, but each step brought her closer to her destiny. As she sat by the fire, the orb began to glow again, signaling another vision. Cindy held it gently, watching as the colors swirled and shifted. This time, the vision showed her a majestic tree, its branches reaching up to the heavens. At the base of the tree was an entrance, leading to a hidden passage beneath the forest. The vision filled Cindy with hope. She knew the tree was a significant landmark, a guidepost on her path to the crystal cave. With a renewed sense of direction, she rested for the night, eager to continue her journey at first light. The next morning, Cindy and Luna set off with renewed vigor. The forest seemed to part before them, guiding them towards the majestic tree from the vision. As they traveled, Cindy felt the presence of the forest spirits, their silent support bolstering her resolve. After several days of travel, they finally reached the tree. It was even more magnificent than the vision had shown, its ancient bark etched with runes and its branches alive with magical energy. Cindy felt a deep sense of reverence as she approached, the orb's light pulsing in harmony with the tree's magic. At the base of the tree, she found the hidden entrance, just as the vision had shown. With a deep breath, Cindy stepped into the passage, Luna following close behind. The path ahead was dark and unknown, but the orb's light illuminated the way, guiding her towards the crystal cave and the destiny that awaited. Chapter 2: The Trials and Triumphs. The passage beneath the ancient tree led Cindy and Luna into a subterranean world of wonder. The air was cool and filled with the scent of earth and moss. The crystal orb glowed softly, illuminating the path with its ethereal light. The walls of the tunnel sparkled with embedded crystals, reflecting the orb's glow and creating a mesmerizing spectacle. After several hours of travel, the passage widened, and Cindy found herself standing in a vast underground cavern. The ceiling was high, dotted with glowing stalactites that cast a gentle light over the cavern. In the center stood an imposing figure, its form indistinct, but radiating an aura of wisdom and power. As Cindy approached, the figure solidified into the shape of an ancient being, draped in robes woven from the essence of the forest itself. Its eyes were deep pools of green, reflecting the very soul of the woods. Cindy knew she was in the presence of the guardian of the woods. "Welcome, Princess Cindy!" The guardian's voice echoed through the cavern, deep and resonant. "I have been expecting you. The crystal orb has guided you here for a purpose, but before you can continue, you must prove your worth." Cindy bowed respectfully. "I am ready," she said, her voice steady with determination. "I will face any challenge to protect my kingdom." The guardian nodded, a faint smile playing on its lips. "Very well. You must complete 3 trials, each designed to test a different aspect of your character: wisdom, courage, and heart. Only then will you be deemed worthy to continue your quest." With a wave of its hand, the guardian conjured a doorway at the far end of the cavern. "Your first trial awaits you through that door. It is the trial of wisdom. Proceed when you are ready." Cindy took a deep breath, her heart pounding with anticipation. She approached the doorway, the crystal orb clutched in her hand. As she stepped through, the world around her shifted, and she found herself in a circular chamber filled with ancient books and scrolls. In the center of the chamber stood a pedestal with an open book, its pages blank. Cindy approached the pedestal, her mind racing. The trial of wisdom, she thought. What does it require of me? As she pondered, words began to appear on the pages of the book. They formed a riddle, ancient and cryptic. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? Cindy considered the riddle carefully. The answer seemed to elude her, but she knew the key lay in understanding the nature of the elements and the magic of the forest. She thought about the wind, the way it carried whispers and sounds through the trees. And then it struck her. An echo, she said aloud. The book's pages glowed with approval, and the words dissolved, replaced by a new riddle. I have keys, but open no locks. I have space, but no room. You can enter, but you cannot go outside. What am I? Cindy furrowed her brow, thinking of the things that held keys yet did not open locks. The answer dawned on her as she recalled the many hours she had spent in the castle's library. A keyboard, she answered confidently. Once again the book glowed, and the words vanished. The chamber shifted, and Cindy found herself back in the cavern with the Guardian. You have passed the trial of wisdom, the Guardian said, its voice filled with approval. Next is the trial of courage. Follow the path to your right. Cindy felt a sense of accomplishment, but knew the hardest trials were yet to come. She followed the path indicated by the Guardian, the orb's light guiding her steps. The tunnel led her to a large open space, where the ground was rocky and uneven. Standing in the center of the space was a massive beast, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. It roared, the sound echoing through the cavern and sending shivers down Cindy's spine. The trial of courage, she realized, would test her bravery in the face of danger. With Luna at her side and the crystal orb in her hand, Cindy stepped forward, ready to face the beast and prove her worthiness. Cindy's heart pounded as she faced the massive beast in the cavern. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, and its roar echoed through the chamber. She tightened her grip on the crystal orb, feeling its warmth and power flow into her. Luna stood resolutely by her side, ready to support her in any way. Summoning her courage, Cindy stepped forward, meeting the beast's gaze. The trial of courage required her to face her fears head-on. She took a deep breath and with a voice steady and firm, spoke to the creature. I am Cindy, Princess of Glittervale. I seek the crystal cave to protect my kingdom from a great darkness. I mean you no harm. The beast paused, its glowing eyes narrowing as it regarded her. For a moment, there was a tense silence, and then it roared again, charging towards her. Cindy's heart raced, but she held her ground, raising the orb high. A beam of light shot from the orb, enveloping the beast in a gentle glow. The creature halted, its rage dissipating as the light soothed it. Cindy took a step closer, her voice calm and soothing. I understand your duty to guard this place, but I am on a quest to save my people. Will you let me pass? The beast's eyes softened, and it lowered its massive head in a gesture of respect. With a final low growl, It stepped aside, allowing Cindy and Luna to pass. Cindy felt a surge of relief and gratitude. She had faced the trial of courage and emerged victorious. The guardian of the woods appeared once more, a look of approval in its ancient eyes. "You have proven your courage, Princess Cindy. Now continue your journey. The hidden valley lies beyond this cavern. There, you will find those who can aid you in your quest." Cindy bowed in thanks and continued through the cavern, emerging into a breathtaking valley. The hidden valley was a paradise, filled with vibrant flowers, clear streams, and ancient trees that seemed to sing with the wind. The air was filled with the scent of blooming flowers, and the sun cast a warm, golden glow over everything. As Cindy and Luna made their way through the valley, they encountered a community of reclusive villagers. The villagers were kind-hearted and welcoming, their faces lit with curiosity and warmth. They led Cindy to their leader, an elderly woman named Thalia, who possessed a deep knowledge of the valley and its secrets. Thalia welcomed Cindy into her home, a cozy cottage nestled among the trees. "Welcome, Princess Cindy," Thalia said, her voice gentle yet filled with wisdom. "We have been awaiting your arrival. The crystal orb has guided many before you, and it will guide many after. What do you seek?" Cindy explained her journey and the visions the orb had shown her. Thalia listened intently, nodding in understanding. "The crystal cave is indeed a place of great power," she said. "It is said to hold the heart of the forest, a crystal that can amplify the orb's power and reveal the true path. But the journey to the cave is fraught with danger. You must be prepared for the trials that lie ahead." The villagers offered Cindy shelter and shared their knowledge of the forest and its secrets. They told her stories of the crystal orb's history, of the many who had sought its guidance and the trials they had faced. Cindy felt a deep sense of connection to these tales, realizing she was part of a long and noble tradition. During her stay in the valley, Cindy trained and prepared for the challenges ahead. She learned to harness the orb's power more effectively and honed her skills in navigating the forest. The villagers, recognizing her determination and strength, offered their support and encouragement. One evening, as the sun set over the valley, casting a golden light over the landscape, Thalia approached Cindy. "The time has come for you to continue your journey," she said. "The path to the crystal cave lies to the north, through the heart of the enchanted forest. Remember what you have learned here and trust in the orb. It will guide you to your destiny." Cindy thanked Thalia and the villagers for their kindness and wisdom. With Luna by her side and the orb glowing brightly, she set off once more, her heart filled with hope and determination. The hidden valley had given her the strength and knowledge she needed, and she was ready to face the trials that awaited her. As Cindy and Luna ventured north, the tranquil beauty of the hidden valley gave way to the dense, mysterious depths of the enchanted forest. The trees grew closer together, their ancient branches entwining to form a natural canopy that dimmed the sunlight. The air was thick with the scent of pine and earth, and the only sounds were the rustling leaves and distant bird calls. Cindy pressed on, guided by the crystal orb's steady glow. The orb had shown her the path, and she trusted its guidance implicitly. Yet, as they travelled deeper into the forest, she couldn't shake a growing sense of unease. The air grew cooler, and an unnatural silence settled over the forest, as if the very land were holding its breath. One evening, as Cindy set up camp, dark clouds began to gather on the horizon. The orb's light flickered, and she sensed an impending storm. She secured the camp as best as she could, tying down their supplies and making sure Luna was safe. The storm broke with a sudden, furious intensity, the wind howling through the trees and rain lashing down in torrents. Cindy huddled under a makeshift shelter, the orb clutched tightly in her hands. The storm's fury seemed almost unnatural, as if conjured by dark forces to thwart her mission. Thunder roared overhead, and lightning split the sky, illuminating the forest in brief, terrifying flashes. Cindy's heart pounded, but she knew she had to remain strong. This was the trial of courage, a test of her resolve and determination. With each flash of lightning, she saw shadows moving through the trees, dark shapes that seemed to writhe and twist with malevolent intent. The wind howled louder, carrying with it whispers of doubt and fear. Cindy closed her eyes and focused on the orb's warmth, drawing strength from its light. She knew she couldn't let fear overtake her. "Show me the way," she whispered to the orb, her voice barely audible over the storm's fury. The orb responded with a surge of light, illuminating a path through the storm. Cindy took a deep breath, steeling herself for what lay ahead. She mounted Luna, the horse standing firm despite the raging tempest, and together they pushed forward into the heart of the storm. The wind buffeted them from all sides, and the rain stung like needles. But Cindy held fast, her eyes fixed on the orb's guiding light. The shadows seemed to close in around them, dark figures reaching out with grasping hands. Cindy raised the orb high, its light cutting through the darkness, driving the shadows back. "Be gone!" she shouted, her voice strong and unwavering. "I will not be swayed from my path!" The shadows recoiled, hissing and writhing as they retreated into the depths of the forest. The storm's fury began to abate, the wind dying down and the rain lessening to a gentle patter. Cindy felt a surge of triumph and relief. She had faced the storm and the shadows, and she had not faltered. As the first light of dawn broke through the clouds, Cindy and Luna emerged from the forest into a wide clearing. The storm was gone, leaving the air fresh and clean. The orb's light glowed softly, a testament to her courage and determination. She had passed the trial of courage, proving her strength in the face of overwhelming odds. In the clearing, Cindy found a small, sparkling spring. She and Luna drank deeply, replenishing their strength. As she rested, Cindy reflected on the journey so far. Each trial had tested her in different ways, but each had also made her stronger, more resolute. She knew the hardest trials were yet to come, but she was ready to face them. After a brief rest, Cindy continued her journey. The path led her through the clearing and up a gentle slope where the trees began to thin. The air grew warmer, and she felt a sense of anticipation building within her. The crystal cave was near. She could feel it in her bones. The orb's light grew brighter, guiding her steps with unwavering certainty. With Luna by her side and the orb in her hand, Cindy pressed on, ready to face the final trials and fulfill her destiny. The path ahead was steep and challenging, but she knew she was not alone. The strength of her kingdom, the wisdom of her ancestors, and the power of the orb were with her, guiding her towards the crystal cave and the heart of the enchanted forest. As Cindy and Luna ascended the gentle slope, the dense forest gradually gave way to a landscape dotted with gleaming crystal formations. The air was filled with a sense of anticipation, and the orb's glow grew even brighter, casting a shimmering light on their path. Cindy felt the energy of the place resonate deep within her, urging her onward. The path led them to the entrance of a magnificent cave, its mouth framed by towering crystals that sparkled in the sunlight. Cindy dismounted and approached the cave, the orb pulsing with a gentle rhythm in her hand. She knew this was the place from her visions, the crystal cave that held the key to her kingdom's salvation. As she stepped inside, the cave walls seemed to come alive, reflecting and amplifying the orb's light. The interior of the cave was breathtaking, with crystalline formations of every color imaginable. The air was cool and pure, filled with the soft hum of ancient magic. Cindy felt a profound sense of peace and purpose as she ventured deeper into the cave. The path led her to a vast chamber at the heart of the cave. At its center stood a pedestal carved from pure crystal, and atop the pedestal rested a heart-shaped crystal that pulsed with an inner light. Cindy approached the pedestal, her heart pounding with anticipation. As she reached out to touch the crystal heart, the orb in her hand began to resonate in harmony with it. A beam of light shot from the orb, connecting with the heart and filling the chamber with a brilliant golden glow. Ancient inscriptions on the cave walls lit up, revealing a language Cindy had never seen before, but somehow understood. The inscriptions spoke of a great power, a force that could bring light to the darkest of times and guide those who sought to protect their world. The crystal heart, it said, was the embodiment of the forest magic, and only those with a pure heart and noble purpose could harness its power. Cindy placed the orb on the pedestal beside the crystal heart. As the two crystals touched, a surge of energy flowed through her, filling her with strength and wisdom. She saw visions of the past, of heroes who had come before her, each guided by the orb and the heart to save their people from great peril. The final vision was of her kingdom, Glittervale, bathed in golden light. She saw herself standing at the forefront, the orb and the crystal heart united in her hands, dispelling the dark clouds and restoring peace to the land. The vision filled her with confidence and a deep sense of responsibility. With the crystal heart and the orb resonating in perfect harmony, Cindy knew she had gained the power she needed for the final leg of her journey. She gently lifted the orb and the heart from the pedestal, feeling their combined energy flow through her. The light from the crystals seemed to infuse her very being, filling her with an unshakable resolve. As Cindy turned to leave the chamber, she noticed an inscription at the entrance, a message left by those who had come before her. In unity, there is strength. In light, there is hope. Go forth and let the light guide you. With Luna at her side and the combined power of the orb and the crystal heart in her hands, Cindy stepped out of the cave and into the sunlight. The path ahead was clear, and she felt a renewed sense of purpose. The final trial awaited her, but she was ready to face it with the wisdom and strength she had gained. The journey back through the forest was swift, the path seemingly illuminated by the light of the crystals. Cindy felt the presence of the forest spirits, their silent support guiding her steps. As she neared the edge of the forest, she knew the final vision would soon come to pass. The battle between light and darkness that would determine the fate of her kingdom. As Cindy emerged from the crystal cave, the orb glowed with an intensity she had never seen before. The crystal heart pulsed in harmony with the orb, the two artifacts resonating together in a powerful symphony of light. The forest seemed to part before her, the trees whispering secrets and encouragements as she passed. Cindy felt an unbreakable bond with the land, a sense of unity and purpose that filled her with confidence. The path led her to a high cliff overlooking her kingdom. From this vantage point, Cindy could see the dark clouds she had glimpsed in her visions. They swirled ominously over Glittervale, casting a pall over the once bright landscape. Her heart ached at the sight, but she steeled herself. The time had come to fulfill her destiny. As she stood on the cliff, the orb began to glow even brighter, projecting a vision before her eyes. In this vision, Cindy saw herself standing at the forefront of a great battle. The forces of darkness, led by the sinister figure from her earlier visions, were arrayed against her kingdom. But she was not alone. Her people stood with her, their faces determined and full of hope. The vision showed Cindy raising the orb and the crystal heart high above her head, their combined light forming a protective barrier around her people. The darkness recoiled, unable to withstand the pure, radiant energy. Cindy saw herself leading a charge, her voice ringing out in a call to arms. Her people responded, their spirits bolstered by her courage and the power of the crystals. The vision shifted, showing Cindy in the heart of the battle. She faced the dark figure, their eyes locked in a silent confrontation. The figure raised a staff, unleashing waves of shadow that threatened to engulf her. But Cindy stood firm. The light of the orb and the crystal heart creating a shield that deflected the darkness. She saw herself advancing, step by step, pushing back the shadows until she stood face to face with the dark figure. With a final mighty effort, Cindy raised the crystals high, their light merging into a single brilliant beam. The darkness shattered and the figure dissolved into nothingness. The vision ended, and Cindy found herself back on the cliff, the orb and the crystal heart glowing brightly in her hands. Filled with newfound determination, Cindy descended the cliff and made her way back to Glittervale. As she approached the kingdom, she could see the fear and uncertainty in the eyes of her people. But she also saw hope, a flicker of belief that their princess would lead them to victory. Cindy entered the castle, the orb and the crystal heart held high. Her parents greeted her, their faces lined with worry but also with pride. "Cindy," her mother said, her voice trembling, "we knew you would return. What have you discovered?" Cindy recounted her journey, the trials she had faced, and the power she had gained from the crystal cave. "We must stand together," she said, her voice strong and clear. "The darkness is powerful, but the light within us is stronger. With the orb and the crystal heart, we can dispel the shadows and restore peace to our land." Her words rallied the people of Glittervale. They gathered in the castle courtyard, armed with whatever they could find, their faces set with determination. Cindy stood at the forefront, Luna by her side, the orb and the crystal heart glowing with a fierce light. As the dark clouds gathered overhead, Cindy raised the crystals high. The light they emitted formed a protective barrier around her people, just as the vision had shown. The forces of darkness surged forward, led by the sinister figure, but they could not penetrate the barrier of light. Cindy led the charge, her voice a clarion call that echoed across the battlefield. Her people followed, their courage bolstered by her unwavering resolve. They fought with all their might, driving back the shadows with the power of their unity and the light of the crystals. In the heart of the battle, Cindy faced the dark figure. Their eyes locked, and she felt the weight of all the darkness pressing down upon her. But she also felt the strength of the light within her, the power of the orb and the crystal heart. With a mighty effort, she raised the crystals high, their light merging into a single brilliant beam. The darkness shattered, and the figure dissolved into nothingness. The dark clouds parted, and the sun broke through, bathing Glittervale in a golden light. The people cheered, their voices rising in a triumphant chorus. Cindy stood at the center of it all, the orb and the crystal heart still glowing brightly in her hands. The sun bathed Glittervale in a warm golden light as the dark clouds receded, vanquished by the power of the crystal orb and the crystal heart. The battle had been fierce, but the people of Glittervale had emerged victorious, their spirits unbroken and their resolve unyielding. Cindy stood at the center of the jubilant crowd, her heart swelling with pride and relief. As the cheers of her people echoed through the courtyard, Cindy felt a gentle nudge from Luna. She turned to her loyal companion, her eyes filled with gratitude. "We did it, Luna," she whispered, stroking the horse's mane. "We brought the light back to Glittervale." Her parents approached, their faces glowing with pride. Her mother embraced her tightly, tears of joy streaming down her cheeks. "My brave Cindy," she said, her voice choked with emotion. "You have saved us all." Her father placed a hand on her shoulder, his eyes filled with admiration. "You have proven yourself to be a true leader, Cindy. The strength and courage you have shown will be remembered for generations." Cindy smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. "I could not have done it without the support of our people and the guidance of the orb and the crystal heart. Together, we are strong." In the days that followed, Glittervale began to heal. The dark forces that had threatened the kingdom were gone, and the land flourished once more under the gentle rays of the sun. The people worked together to rebuild their homes and lives, their spirits buoyed by the hope and unity that had carried them through the darkest of times. Cindy spent her days helping with the restoration efforts, her presence a constant source of inspiration for her people. She visited the villages, offering words of encouragement and listening to their stories. Everywhere she went, she was greeted with warmth and gratitude, a testament to the bond she had forged with her kingdom. One evening, as the sun set over the horizon, casting a golden glow over the castle, Cindy stood on the balcony, the crystal orb and the crystal heart in her hands. She gazed out over the land, her heart filled with a sense of peace and purpose. Alaric joined her, his wise eyes twinkling with pride. "You have done well, Cindy," he said, his voice gentle. "The trials you faced were great, but you emerged stronger and wiser. The light of the orb and the heart now resides within you." Cindy nodded, her gaze fixed on the horizon. "The journey was difficult, but it was worth it. Our kingdom is safe, and our people are united. I will continue to protect and guide them, just as the orb and the heart have guided me." Alaric smiled, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You are a true leader, Cindy. The legacy of the crystal orb and the heart lives on through you. Remember that you are never alone. The wisdom of our ancestors and the strength of our people are always with you." As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Cindy felt a deep sense of contentment. She had faced her destiny and emerged victorious, not just for herself, but for her kingdom. The trials she had overcome had forged her into a leader, ready to face whatever challenges the future might hold. The crystal orb and the crystal heart continued to glow softly in her hands, a reminder of the journey she had undertaken and the power she had harnessed. Cindy knew that the light within her would guide her always, illuminating the path ahead and ensuring that Glittervale would forever remain a land of hope and peace. With Luna by her side and the love of her people in her heart, Cindy looked to the future with confidence and determination. The trials and triumphs of her journey had prepared her for the challenges to come, and she was ready to lead Glittervale into a new era of prosperity and harmony. As the night enveloped the kingdom in a blanket of stars, Cindy stood on the balcony, a beacon of light and hope for all who looked to her. The crystal orb and the crystal heart, now a part of her very being, glowed brightly, a testament to the strength and unity of Glittervale. And so, with her spirit fortified and her heart filled with hope, Princess Cindy embraced her destiny, ready to lead her people into a future of light and peace.